to the first episode of the On the Back Hash podcast. Hopefully, a podcast about things marching arts, drum corps, marching band, WGI, and anything else we're going to decide to talk about at some point. My name is Cedric. I'm joined with my buddy Will and Zach. We also have a fourth person. It's not with us today, but hopefully he'll be with us on some other podcasts. His name is Chris. But today is just like an introductory into the podcast. We're going to talk about who we are and why we love drum corps and marching arts so much and all of that good stuff. So I'll get started. Like I said, my name is Cedric. I am a band director in Kentucky, teach middle school band, assist at the high school. I do a lot of work with the percussionists. I am a percussionist myself. Graduated from Western Kentucky University. And I've met these two guys throughout my musical career. One of them, Zach, was a student of mine, and Will's a good buddy of mine. We marched Eclipse together back in the day. But just kind of a fan of the martial arts and just kind of excited to be doing this podcast. All right. What about you, William?
All right. My name is William, and I am originally from Kentucky. As of this moment, I am living in Washington State. For the time being, am trying to maintain and control rental property business with my sister. We have multiple properties in two different states at the moment. But other than that, I am also a percussion teacher. And like Cedric said, I have taught percussion with him. I have taught Zach, and then I have also taught with Zach after that. And I have written multiple musics for multiple groups and schools throughout different states. And at this moment, I am currently trying to find a new school to teach up here in Washington to further expand, just my teaching in general.
Awesome. What about you, Zach?
I'm Zach. I'm an elementary teacher. I teach math, but also still involved with the arts. I've been helping a local program for ever since I graduated high school now, I guess. Do visual, brass, done percussion. Think I might have wrote some guard work once or twice. A little bit of everything, whatever needs to get done. And yeah, we just got the group together because we always talk about drum corps anyways and marching band and all that good stuff. So why not broadcast it for the world to see and hear our good and bad takes?
All day.
Yeah. So, about this podcast, I'm going to go ahead and put this out here first. Okay? There's not going to be hate for any corps. We're going to call things kind of like we said, and we love the activity, and we all understand that all of these guys and girls are putting their heart and soul into what they're doing to be the best that they can. There may be some jokes made. We may be cutting up sometimes. But at the end of the day, we all do respect. Being all of us have done the marching arts before in some capacity. I've done, high school marching band and indoor. Williams marched corps and done indoor and did high school marching band. And so, Zach, yeah, he's done everything. And Zach's marched indoor as well and done marching band. So, like, we all understand the hard work that these guys and girls put in on a daily basis.
For sure.
And just kind of give you maybe I hate to use the word common, but just like everyday folks' viewpoint of what's going on for right now, what's going on in drum corps, and what we expect and what we like and what we like to see change. Just because we say we wish they would do this, that doesn't mean we don't like it. It's a preference.
Right.
Right. You're not going to see very much hate or anything from us on some stuff. It's just some encouraging, maybe constructive criticism or stuff like that. Because by all means, we're no judge, and we haven't ran a drum corps. Those guys, they know what they're doing. They get paid. But this is just some social commentary about the activity as how we see it. So, any of y'all got anything to add to that?
I'm Gucci.
No.
That's pretty much it on the nail. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that teacher being able to explain stuff the first time.
I'm telling you, man, being up in front of a crowd all the time.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. I know we're getting off on tangent a little bit, but you'd be surprised how many teachers hate to talk in front of people.
I do that too. I do that too.
It kind of scares me sometimes. Some of them, I'm just like, but you do this for a living.
Well, I
So,
mean, you're playing a role.
yeah, you are. I
Yeah.
mean,
You're playing
I
a
tell
role.
kids all the time, but you're acting. This
Hmm.
is like,
Hmm.
they're like, you so talkative. Like, I'm talkative in front of y'all. Like, this me at home or out in public, no, I'm quiet, man. This is what I have to do to do
Exactly.
my job. So, but yeah. All right. So, what got you into drum corps or in the marching arts and made you enjoy it? Let's start with that since you went last time.
Okay. So my first experience into marching band, I guess, was I was an eighth grader and in your class, and the high school director at the time needed some volunteers to move some and be a prop during the show that year. So me being the eager child I was, volunteered, and I got to stand inside a box made out of PVC pipe, and in between every movement of the show, I changed it and turned it around to show a different picture. And that was when I got my first taste and really thought, yeah, this is what I want to do. So I started in eighth grade, and then going through high school, you see the classic Cavalier shows and videos during camp and this and that, and that kind of got my interest into it. But I really didn't get into drum corps heavily, I guess, until probably 2012, 2013, 14-ish, I think. Maybe 2010. I don't know. Probably about the time you guys all started going to, and Chris started going to world championships consistently each year. And then I got in on that, and my first world championships was when the Blue Devils broke their record. So I got in on a good year, and that's all she wrote ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that show. That was the seasons.
Yeah.
And when we were rotating the box, it was rotating the different seasons.
Yep.
I actually liked that show.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad show. What about you, William?
Oh man, it's kind of a funny story. When I was young, I actually would like. I guess you can say it's like your typical like little child who beats on pots and pans and stuff like that. I was creating drums out of anything, honestly. If mom had like an old oatmeal container or something, I would use the lid as a drum and beat it with some type of sticks, and I was creating sets and everything. And the crazy part is, I think what got me interested in it is when I was young, there was a old stadium where I used to live, and we would drive past it and always see the band out there. Now I'm talking about like middle school young, and it just dawned on me. It's like, man, I think I want to try to do something like that. So I talked to my parents about it. So I'm beating on stuff in the house all the time, and wouldn't you know it, as soon as I get into middle school band, I play trumpet. It's like,
Don't know that. A lot of people that know you think you're a percussionist,
Yeah.
but you're actually
Yeah.
you're actually a brass player.
Yeah.
yeah, that's and it's funny because it's kind of the first love is brass, and people were always like even my mom, everybody was shocked. It was like, why are you playing the trumpet? It's like there was no indication that you even like you beating on everything in the house, and so it was hilarious. I don't know what it was, but it sucked because I didn't get into band until late my 8th grade year. And when I say late, I mean like a whole semester went by. The school did something crazy with my schedule, and I just couldn't get into the band class. But by the time I did, you talking about like months or so go by, kids are already done. He didn't set the concert band and everything. I get in there, I start learning. If you wouldn't believe it, there was 5 of us in our middle school band at that time, and I was sitting second chair by the end of the year. First year ever playing trumpet. And since then, I just stuck with it. I didn't know anything about drum corps until high school when an old band director of mine, his name's James, played a video. And the first video it was of the Madison Scouts. And it so happened to be the 95 Madison Scouts. And if anybody knows about this year, Cedric knows about that show and me. And when I saw that on a little bitty tube TV at the high school, my mind went, I was like, you're telling me this goes beyond high school? Like, because you know how kids get. So I'm freaking out. I was like, oh my God. And I think the first time ever, by my junior year, a lot of people didn't know at my old high school, Pioneer Drum Corps stayed at our high school. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I'm freaking out. And ever since then, it took me until 2003 is when I finally decided, and I was able to march the Madison Scouts myself. So I actually got to march my own Dream Corps, which was totally awesome. And as much as I do love band and drum corps and stuff, I'm actually an indoor head, which is crazy too. Like, I'm like all over the place. It's unreal. It wasn't until I can't actually pinpoint when I first got into indoor, honestly. But the first group that I ever marched was Music City Mystique. And then I went on to march the same group that Cedric marched, which was Eclipse. And then out of Eclipse, I marched a group called Moxie Audio Theater. So I've been through 3 different groups in indoor and taught pretty much half of the state that I used to live in indoor as well.
Yeah.
Not understatement.
No. In some capacity, your hands have been all over.
Like, for real. Even just like Zach, even in color guard, I went with a old friend of mine. We went to Rossview High School, and for the first time I ever went there, I helped design and restructure her color guard drill and a couple show designs. First year out that school has ever been in color guard, and we took second place that year. It's crazy. So it's I can definitely say it's a true passion. The whole marching arts activity itself.
Yeah, band and this world in general, it's just one of those. If you get in it and you get just deep enough in it, it'll just take you places and just do things for you.
Because I tell people all the time, I was like, get involved, because you don't know what your school's capable of or what your school will lead you to be in something outside of your school. Because I tell people all the time, I was like, my old school, it took us to London. That is the first time I ever been out the country. Band, you're telling me I can be in band and go to another country, especially in a high school?
I mean, in college band, every trip I went on was for band, bowl games and conference basketball tournaments and stuff like that. And you look back, like all the places you've got to go and things you got to see and do. And it's because you decided you wanted to be in 6th grade band or 8th grade band or whatever. And you really haven't had to pay much for it, honestly. I mean, it's crazy what doors will open for you.
It's crazy how a decision like that can change your life. I mean, I kind of talk about that when I talk to the kids about joining band and stuff, especially the percussionists, because my family is a musical family. And so everybody either sang or played an instrument in my family. And I was in Texas when I started band. So in 6th grade or in the 5th grade, dude come around like, all right, who wants to be in band? I was like, I want to be in band. Like, what do you want to play? And I was like, either drums or trumpet. Because my uncle was a drummer. He used to have a drum set up in the attic in the house we used to live in. And I used to go up there when I was like 4 or 5 and bang on it. And then I had a cousin who played trumpet. And I thought he was cool too. But I was just like, I'll try this drum thing out. So sixth grade percussionist in Texas. You know, Texas is band state. I didn't realize that at the time, that how big of a deal it was to start band in Texas, but I did, and um, ended up doing pretty well while I was there. And then I moved back, and I moved around quite a bit. Lived in North Carolina for a little bit, but in at the end of my seventh grade year, I was in Kentucky, and the high school band director was like, "Hey, you want to be a marching band next year?" I was like, "Cool." And they want you to play snare, and I was like, "At the eighth grade?" Said, yeah. All right. So I go to band camp. Band camp was hell. I died. And we went away. We went to this place in Dixon, Tennessee, and we stayed there for a week. So like I'm doing this hard thing, marching snare, and we going from like 7 in the morning. You know, we would wake up, do fundamentals,
Mm-hmm.
and then go eat breakfast, and then come back and do our morning block or whatever. So we're talking about 7 a.m. to like 7 to 8 o'clock that night. And I'm homesick. My feet are hurting because nobody told me to bring a change of dry socks just because of the dew and all this stuff. And I was like, this is the hardest thing. I don't know if I can do this. And then that next week, we get back home, and then my friends were like, yeah, we're moving to North Carolina. And I was like, oh. Um, and there they didn't let eighth graders march. So I didn't march my eighth grade year. But I was in the pit my freshman year there, and then moved back to Kentucky and marched snare the rest of the time I was there. Um, and much like what Will's saying, Pioneer stayed at our school one year. Actually, Pioneer stayed 1 year, and another year, Les Etoiles stayed. I don't know if you remember them, group out of Canada.
Mhm.
I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah, Les Etoiles.
Yeah.
And they
Mhm.
did not care. You talk about booty shorts?
Mhm.
Everybody, everybody. But
That's drum corps, man.
yeah, but both of them stayed at our school. They practiced in the front in the grassy area there. That's back when Western Kentucky University, where me and Zach went to college. That's back when Western had a drum corps show. So they would stay at Western and either go over to stay at our school and then go to Western for the show, or they would stay at our school and go down to Murfreesboro for that show. So, um, but the show that got me hooked was not Madison '95, but Madison '96. That was the year that got me. I was
Or Ghost.
my band director was like, "Hey, PBS is showing this thing. Um, you should go home and you could try to catch it." Problem was, PBS was showing it at like 10, 11 o'clock at
Mm-hmm.
night.
Mhm.
So I stay up and I catch it, and I was like, "This is pretty cool. Let me record it." So I got the VCR, yes, VCR with the cassette tape,
Yep.
and I recorded it. And then Madison '96 come on, and that trumpet player started, and I was like, "This is it. This is what marching band is." Oh my goodness! And ever since then, like
Mm-hmm.
I've been in it. The Madison Scouts fan for, and still am, and I'm glad to see they're coming back, resurgence, and we can get into that later. Um, but that was it for me. Like that was the thing. Like marching band is like the cool thing to do for me. Like and then starting in 2008, me and Will we went to our first WGI. I mean not WGI, DCI championship at
Mhm.
Spectators up at when it was at Indiana University, and we didn't get tickets.
Mhm.
We just drove up that day, and we sat in the nosebleeds, and we watched Phantom win for Spartacus, and that was crazy.
Dang.
And I think that night we was just like, we need to do this
Yep.
every year, and that's when DCI moved to Indianapolis to the
Yep.
to Lucas Oil, and we've gone every year since then.
That's crazy. Like,
Um,
you think, like, y'all's first year was when Phantom won, and then I want to say when Chris went, his first year that he went was either when Crown won or when Cadets won with Angels and Demons. I think, you think those are really big years, and then, of course, my first year was Fellini-esque with Blue Devils. Those are championship groups that nobody forgets about because they just had that
Yeah.
show that year. So that's kind of cool timing for all of us with the years that we first went.
Yeah, it's hard to because all those shows are just like classic.
Yep.
Like they were nothing was going to beat those shows that year. It doesn't matter. They're just very timely and well put together. Um, so yeah, so as you can see, and we'll let when Chris comes, we'll kind of let him tell his story too, because that's the thing. We all come from different aspects of it and how we were introduced to it, and like I said, Williams lived it, being able to march in court and me and Zach being able to do indoor, just kind of how it's changed, and we still talk after all of these years because I met Will 2003, well 2002 technically, but the season was I don't know, it was a long time ago. It was I don't know.
2000.
It was 2 or 3. I always get them mixed up. But
Yeah, I think 2.
yeah, I think 2 was the season. Yeah, because
I think 2.
I graduated in 3. So there we go. And we still 20 years later. Man, it's been 20 years, dude. We have legitimately known each other for half of our lives now.
And the gray is showing.
Boy,
Listen, I'm not even half y'all's age, and my gray's showing. So
Look, that's the kid's fault. That's what that is.
it's fine.
get that right.
You can't go put us under that bus. We know.
I'm not claiming it yet. 65
At least.
at least. So, yeah. So, do we want to talk about predictions? I know some of us have seen some of the shows.
Yeah.
And we can talk about, it could be about placements or about what we want to see. Maybe not so much predictions, but what we like to see. Yeah, we can start talking about that type of stuff. So,
I love it.
let's do this. Who are
Top
you
5.
looking forward to seeing this year? Who are you looking forward to seeing?
I can definitely answer that. Easy.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
That's for me. I'm still looking forward to seeing Scouts again, and I think that's further than just me being an alumni. I know most people saw what they did during pandemic year, and I wanted so bad for the new reveal of the gender and whatnot for Scouts having girls and whatnot in the course to not have been that year, if that makes sense. Like I wanted it to be a judged year to really see, okay, because I loved the show that they did during the pandemic year. I thought it was fantastic, and I really wish that show was kind of now to where it could have actually been judged properly and seeing where they could get placed, because as most know, Scouts has been struggling in the placement department and haven't been in finals in a while. So I'm real interested to seeing if they have elevated themselves further from this past year to now what is a judged year, and seeing how they land and how they place.
I can see that. And I think the name of the show this year is called Installation 85. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
I might need to double check that, fact check that. Yeah, also, if you expecting perfection as far as like show titles and stuff, here, don't, because no,
it ain't happening.
It's just so you know.
Gonna muffle up a whole lot of
It's
stuff.
not on purpose. It's not on purpose. I'm like, I can't believe they messed up that. I'm sorry.
We're human.
It's gonna happen.
But I saw on a Facebook group there were some people that was like, "What are they doing?" I guess they watched the preview show because they did a preview show, and I think it was on YouTube yesterday. I didn't watch it. I kind of don't want to watch it. and some people were like a little nervous about it. So I'm the color schemes got me interested, and especially after seeing them last year, I would agree with that. I'm ready to see them because I'm ready to get back to kind of what they're known for. How about you, Zach? Who are you looking forward to seeing?
I've kind of talked about this in our group message already. I'm really excited to see Boston this year. I think the last 4 or 5 years now, ever since they did the Wicked Game show, I think they've been on the up and up. Is in terms of their show design, music, everything. It's very accessible for viewers who are involved and not involved with the activity. And like if I was a person who was looking to join a corps, that would be immediately a place where my eyes would go, because their shows they tend to be a crowd favorite here lately, and they're I don't know, I just think that they've improved a lot, and I mean they've had some staffing changes and things like that, but they're a corps that's got a lot of momentum, I feel like. And my personal preference, I think they could be top 5. I don't know. I feel like they got a shot at it. I think that's where they're heading. So I'm excited to see that and hear that. And yeah.
Yeah, Boston's doing Paradise Lost.
Mm-hmm.
And you took mine. I was going to say them, so
No.
I'll think of somebody else. But
Sorry.
But yeah, also after what they did last year, and I know they don't have the screens this year, and I wish they would have brought them back because I'm sure they spent a lot of money to rent those.
Well, you never know. They might.
This is true. I mean, we don't.
That could be
they probably know some people who got them for free.
I mean, we've seen the TPs, and who's to say that those things aren't running the TPs or something? Even though I think they're bigger than the TPs, but
wouldn't be the first time.
But yeah, no, it wouldn't be. See, a core that I'm looking forward to. I want to see what this Blue Knights show is about. It seems a little bit a different direction for them. For the last several seasons, a lot of their shows have been kind of esoteric and very mind oriented, making you think about things and situations and just kind of putting you in the atmosphere. And this one, and I guess this one's doing that too. Their shows, I believe, it's called Vibe.
Yeah.
So with Blue Knights and being in Colorado and what they are allowed to do in Colorado, who knows?
Don't bring that over.
But I'm really interested to see what they do with it, because they normally have this aggressive, attack-oriented type of deal by still like guiding you through stuff. It's very unorthodox how their show design works, but it always works, and I'm always intrigued by it every year. So kind of looking forward to seeing what that show's about. Obviously we're all looking forward to seeing the big dogs, Vanguard.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
BD and Blue. Of course, we're not going to know what Blue coats are doing until August. So
right. Finals night, they'll tell us what the show's called.
Finals night.
But,
just kidding. It's really called this.
Yeah, we'll change it for every show. We like 15 shows. This is which one's going to work.
Give them a clue every show.
Yeah.
Drop a letter.
Yeah.
Perform your show. What?
Wait a minute.
Yesterday was King. This ain't even going in order. What is this? Wheel of Fortune?
Portal now? What are you doing?
Portal. Oh, jeez.
But yeah, so the big dogs, we're all looking forward to those guys. That's what I was saying.
I mean, I could have listed probably 4 more groups that I had.
Yeah.
But,
anybody outside?
It's more than just guys.
Anybody outside the top 12?
Yeah.
That's no normal.
I mean, I can tell you who I'm not excited for, but we'll save that for another episode.
Oh no.
I have no personal beef with any core. Some of them just
Listen, man. There's sometimes
boring.
It be like
Sometimes
that though.
It's
It
hit
be
or
like
miss, and
that.
sometimes you just miss for 4 years.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I think I know who you're talking about, and they might be better this year.
Hmm.
I think they might be better this year, and it's going from there. So, all right. So both predictions, we can say placements. We can say this score is going to make this. This score is not going to make this. But what is one of your bold predictions? And this is early, and this doesn't mean anything. We have the right to change our
Yeah.
minds. Um,
I mean, what preview show was in
especially
2 days?
yeah, I mean the theater's in 2 days.
Hmm.
So I think for me, um, I
Let's start with number one.
start. You want to start? You want to talk about who we think will win?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody just say your number one, then
God.
we'll go to two, we'll go to three.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I need to keep track because I'm gonna forget who I said when. All right,
See?
all right. All right. Since you said number one, you go first.
Oh,
Okay. Well, okay, listen. I'm just
we're
gonna
all
go ahead
gonna
and
say the
it.
same one, so go ahead.
I hate to say it, but I got
Yep.
BD winning.
I agree.
I got the Blue
Yeah.
Devils winning.
I agree.
Bold prediction: they might go
And
undefeated.
and here's
And
the
I ain't
thing,
seen or heard a
I
note,
miss
but
I
just
I
got
ain't
a-
either.
I just
And that's
got
the
a
problem.
feeling.
See, the only thing I got is I looked at yesterday's score and they 2-pointed SCV, and I said it is such a different world in drum corps than it is in indoor when you see a 2-point spread. When you have a 2-point spread, you allow almost 3 to 4 corps to get in between you. So, and the fact that you ain't seen nobody else and it's only been SCV, there's a lot of room for those chords that everybody else keeps talking about. So when you talking about, okay, can Boston slip in? We've already seen what Blue Coats have done before, and we've seen what Crown has done before. That's 3 groups that could possibly get in between SCV and BD.
Yep.
That's a big possibility. So, but from what I've seen, like I said, I've only seen a couple YouTube videos and stuff. I did not watch yesterday's show. I saw some scores and stuff. What is good about SCV, they still winning drums, but I don't know. It's the funny thing about it that a lot of people just keep missing with BD is that you can't ever judge BD until like Atlanta. Like you can't judge at least the percussion. You can't judge their percussion because they're gonna be dirty the whole season, and then somebody magical fairy is gonna come down and they're gonna be ridiculously clean in finals.
So here's the scary thing, Will. I have seen BD. I watched that show last night. First of all, the gap was 1.4. I'll tell you that. The gap was 1.4, and Vanguard's not finished yet. Like I don't even think Vanguard did any of their closing. Like they ended their ballot on this horn suspension, which I almost threw my cat. But so that they did win drums. Here's what I think is different about BD's book, drum book, percussion book. It's very smartly written. Like,
yeah,
it's very like, and I'm talking like what SVV typically does, smartly written. Like it's very readable, and it's pretty clean. If Vanguard has a bad night in drums,
it could be a wrap.
it could be a wrap. That's what I'll say.
And the thing, like I said about with the drum line, I didn't see anything until this morning. I saw a full video. Somebody posted a full video of whatever they have now for the drum line only, or just the battery. And what I saw and what I'm noticing and why what you just said clicked with me is because a lot of people are in the comments and you can look at them. BD is young this year. That drum line looked like babies, but them hands don't. And I think they're trying to fuse both of those ideas. They're trying to fuse that the line is young, but we're still BD. And some of the notes and the way from what I was hearing, I was like, okay, this is still classic BD, but this is smart.
Mm-hmm.
And they gonna look at this like this is some of the most outrageous stuff, and wow, and this is like crazy writing and stuff like. But it's if you dissect it, it's almost not. I kind of feel like Boston is playing harder book.
I would agree with that statement. Even from a front standpoint, we can get into that later because
Yeah, we don't have to get too deep in but that was just an assumption, like basically me agreeing with that idea.
yeah, no, it's very smartly written. So we all think BD's one.
Mm-hmm.
Zach, he's two.
I think Blue Coats will be 2. Me personally, I think out of the from West Coast, I mean obviously BD's number 1 out there, but when you think East Coast, if you can classify Blue Coast as East Coast, but I think they're the top right now.
No,
I think they just play so well. Now last year was a pandemic year, and it was the continuation of the Beatles show. It wasn't my favorite. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't anything special to me. It was like, let's just do this again next year and change our costumes, and that's it. So I'm hoping they kind of go a different direction from that, but I still think they'll be 2. Yeah.
Go ahead. Will.
No, you go ahead this time.
All right. Right now, my gut's saying Crown 2. Just because I don't know what Blue Coats are going to do next.
Yeah, that's true.
And because I remember, they were hot. They did Tilt, boom, Kinetic Injury, Kinetic Noise, boom, and then Downside Up, ha, all right, and then Jagged Edge. I liked it. Cool. But like it was one of those like, all right, where we going? And then Section 44, I like Section 44.
That show, seeing it in person and live is like, dang, this is good. But then like when you go back and watch it again, or just even just listening to it, you're like, dang, that hit.
So I'm wondering kind of where they're gonna go next. Like I'm sure I'll like it. I just don't know if DCI will like it. DCI Sheets, I should say. I shouldn't say DCI. I should say DCI Sheets. So I'm gonna go Crown second.
And see, I held off because I had kind of the same reasoning like that. I was fighting back and forth between Crown and Blue Coast. Cause I was like, because I've told everybody, I was like, if you look at the pandemic year and you played around and judged, but if you really dissect what that pandemic year was, people don't really understand. When you look at Crown, what did they have, like 7 days? And they pulled off some unnecessary stuff. First of all, the color guard was outrageous. That made no sense for their color guard to be that
and there was
clean.
200 of them.
Clean. Yeah.
Like everybody's coming back. Everybody's coming back.
In a pandemic year, Crown had like 7-something days or whatever to prepare for that show or whatever they did. And I was like, okay, I get it. A lot of people didn't like it or something like this or whatever. I was like, but if you dissect and look what they actually did and what they actually played I was like, this is beating a lot of people who are continuing the pandemic year and they're not even out. So I went off of something like that and then looked at Blue Coast because I felt the same about Blue Coast. I was like, I don't think I hated it, but I was like, this ain't it.
It just didn't have this, like I liked the Beatles show. It just didn't hit like the first edition did. it was
Equals all.
It's kind of
it
an up
was
and down thing.
like I said, it was almost the
If I
same
had to make,
thing, just different costumes and different music, but it was almost the
yeah,
same show over again. I mean, I still
yeah.
enjoyed it. It
I
just
think it
wasn't
had,
as
yeah,
enjoyable.
it had some cool points and moments and whatnot, and I was like, it's one of those things like I don't know, I don't really
It was
know
kind of
the
like
exact words for it.
it was kind of like after BD wins with the Metamorph show, and the show right after
Yeah,
that had the same blueprint almost. Like they tried to make that ballad happen
right.
like Metamorphosis did.
And
It
they
was kind
it
of
was too
like that's kind of
forced. It
like
was
what
too forced.
yeah, that's kind of how I feel last year's Blue Coats went. Like it's like, oh, we found something that worked. Let's do it again and try and recreate that, but with
Yeah,
different music, and it just didn't. Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of what I played on. It's like I felt, even though it was a pandemic, whatever, and in that a short amount of time, I felt Crown had, for me personally, had more success than Blue Coast did that season. And I was like, this just doesn't make sense to me. I just couldn't get over the color guard for Crown. I was like, come on, y'all, it's a pandemic. What are y'all doing? It's a pan. It's Why are you this clean? That's scary. To know that you have a group of that many people with that short amount of time, I'd be worried because I was like, I don't understand this. I was like, I don't understand how any of this can be this clean and they can be playing this many notes still during a pandemic. It's like, okay, cool, we get it. But
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna pull ahead and I'm gonna say Crown. But I mean, I got Blue Coast there because regardless of everything I've said, you cannot discard Blue Coast because they're gonna come out with something that's just not really gonna be fair to anybody
Something
else.
innovative that
It's
nobody else thought of
yeah, and
yet.
Yeah, they've had to
yeah, and it's
figure out some electronic sound voodoo.
yeah. And it's gonna be like a couple years past, like the Rite of Spring with BD and stuff like that. It's like, okay, people don't like the show. People keep talking about it, but you cannot deny that they're playing their everything off for that
Hmm.
show. It's just clean. You can't you say what you want about it, but that's hitting all the triad. So I don't know what to tell you. And that's how I feel about Blue Coast. It's like even whatever they're gonna come out with, if you don't like it, you can't deny that they're gonna play their balls off.
So you have
Crown.
Crown second, but Blue Coats third.
Yes. But it's so close, it's so tight. I'm talking about with 200 tenths of a point, if that's even real.
All right. So
Point 0.00000001. Zero.
I'm gonna say super early prediction, but I think Boston's gonna do it.
Oh,
I
go.
think they're gonna medal. I think they're gonna be third. Um,
This is why I said that point gap.
um,
STV might have messed up.
their guard has been awesome already.
Oh, gosh.
The guard has won already in the past 3 years,
Yeah.
or I guess I should say 4 or 5, whenever. So their drum book is a lot smarter this
Every
year.
every year they tweak something and it gets a little bit better.
It, it's,
Hurt book.
it's beefier.
So if the brass book has that sophistication that we see from normal top tier groups, they can keep being accessible, but make us think a little bit. I think the only thing that's hurt them in GA is it might be a little too
Too
accessible,
straightforward.
too straightforward.
Yeah.
Um, and this concept could be just an abstract just enough to where they can make some people think. But I think they have enough tools if they can just put it together when they need to put it together. I think they got a shot. So I'm gonna say Boston third.
Um, going, I my third and fourth place was kind of I couldn't decide who. So I'm going to say third and fourth place in no particular order. I've got Crown and Cavies.
Ooh.
Um,
Oh.
Ooh.
every year,
Ooh,
I don't have the Cavs where they end up being, and I don't know if that's just me thinking
No,
that way, but I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't know. Third and fourth place, Crown and Cavs. They're in that next little tier. I feel like, and I think Boston's close. I'll have to see it before I can. Maybe next week's episode, I'll change my mind and put Boston in.
yeah, that's the thing. These are
But
probably going to change
coming
on
into it blind, I
Yeah.
think with the pedigree and the way that the Cavaliers have bounced back the last few years too from what a lot of people would consider a couple down years from them. And I mean, they really weren't that down but it's for Cavalier standards, yes. But like, I don't know, you can't ignore those two groups now. I don't know. Maybe I'll eat my words later, but that's what we do it for. All right, so who you got number 4, or who's your 3, or did you already say yours?
Who said
Remember,
three?
mine was
You got
Boston,
3.
or
Oh yeah, that's right.
Glucose.
All right, so who y'all got for 4? I mean, somebody's gonna get left out. Somebody's gonna get left
that's the
out.
thing.
Top 5.
4 right now. Blue would have to be 4, which means blue would be 4 for me. So that means
Blue Coat's 4th.
blue coat's 4th. My tier is 5, 6, 7.
Mm.
I think SEV will be 5th, but I can see cadets and cavies 6 and 7. Not in that order. I think cadets are going to surprise some folks this year.
William.
Which sucks because I want to see Blue Knights in the top 6. But
Who'd you have third and fourth?
who, me?
He's taking notes.
Zach.
He's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
bring the receipts next time we get together and tell everybody
Sure
who was
am.
wrong.
You know,
So mine right now,
you had BD Crown Boston Coats,
yes.
and Zach, you had BD Coats Cavs.
Cavs and Crown flip flop 3rd and 4th. And I'm gonna put Boston at my 5. There we go.
So none of us have SEV in the top 5.
I do,
Or do you
because
have
I was
a
about to
5th?
say it.
Oh, well,
I can't
I have
see-
5th. I have a 5th. I have a 5th.
Because okay, so I have said BD.
You said BD Blue Coats.
Well, I had Coats and Crown, kind of like you had Crown and Boston, I think, or Cabbies and Crown. I think. What are we 4?
Me and Zach done went to 7.
Well, I went to
7?
5. Sid went to 7. Yeah, we might as well just go ahead and do our top 12.
Well, I'm out of.
But then I can't decide at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't now. I can get to that,
Okay,
but not
My
till 11 to 12.
hold on. We are. Zach is at 5. You're at 4, and I'm at 4. Wait, no, I'm at 5 now. No, 4.
Who's your 4?
Okay, my 4th is SEV.
So you have,
That's where I had SEV. I got them 4 because I was like, I'm still playing off of what you said. The show's not done.
no, it's
And
not.
you can't count them out, man.
No.
If the drumline, regardless, we know the perk is going to be clean. They're going to do their job. The guard's going to do their job, and the horn line's going to finish what they need to do. And I can't put them out of top 5, and especially with something unfinished like that. But I do have them crazy close to Boston, with a high possibility at finals Boston beating them.
So as of right now, you got Boston fifth.
Yes. So if I do that,
Yeah, and I've got SCV at 6, but if out of my top 5, if SCV is going to take one of their spots, probably Cavaliers.
Yeah. Here's the crazy thing about SCV in my eye. After seeing it, because I've
I
seen
said
it.
you got 4.
So I said
BD, Crown, Boston, Coats.
Boston, Blue Coats, SCV fifth. Here's the thing: SCV will either be fifth or second. That
Oh,
I'm just saying here because
okay, WGI color guard.
but here's the thing, man. It ain't done, and they're going. I told Zach. I said Zach.
Rhythm X, what is going on?
I said Zach. This ending. I said they're about to do a soft ending, and they're about to kaleidoscope drill the hell out of it, because they right now you get Nirvana. To me, you get Nirvana stuff in the intro, setting up stuff, but then it kind of goes into Babylon, in my opinion.
How feel?
And I'm like, so like I don't because I like SCV, like I'm an SCV fan, and I know this ending's gonna because I'm just like finding Nirvana. This is, and they do very good interplay with Smells Like Teen Spirit throughout the entire show. Like that's brilliantly done by the composer. Kudos to that guy. I'm just looking for that. I don't know.
Because I think a lot of groups do that. They tend to retrace themselves back to when they won, and they pick and pluck from it and try to emulate some of that year into whatever year that they're in now.
I don't
Sometimes
know.
that can hurt you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just feel like because here's the thing, BD. I don't want to spoil it too much because I know you two haven't seen it yet. You're gonna watch it tonight, I'm assuming. It's clean. It's like, okay, I can sit and watch this a few times. And I ain't said that about a BD show in a while. Like I'm looking forward to watching it again tonight.
I mean, they had a year to get it together. You think they've been working on this since last year, or you think they waited like everybody else?
Nope.
Because that's what the argument's going to be. If they win and it's an undefeated season, everybody's going to say, well, they didn't come out last year, so they've been doing it for 2 years now.
I don't think this is a 2-year hold.
I don't think people get them because they too young.
Boston is in great shape. It's because they came out last year like it was a regular season. They came out like there was a championship. To me, it felt like they came out like there was a championship on the line.
Yeah.
So they really legitimately did train for this season. And I think some groups that did that last year, like Boston, Madison, and I don't be shocked. Cadets.
Yeah, I think those three, Scouts, Phantom, and Cadets last year lit the fire again for those groups, or kind of gave them a reset to what they used to be and when they were, competitors for the top 3. Because since I started coming to finals, that was 2014, Cadets slowly fell down. Phantom is slowly falling down. Scouts fell out of finals completely. And then I've seen groups like Boston rise up to a top 5 contender potentially. And Cavaliers kind of fell, and now they're back. And it's like,
because me and you have talked about that so many times, about your norm top fives
Mhm.
messing up and allowing these young ones or these underlings to come up, because that's all they need. All these underlings need is for you to blink
Yep.
too many times. And once you blink too many times, it could be a wrap. And that's literally why we see Crown win they show, Blue Coats win they show after so
And then
many
look at what
years.
happened the
You know
year
what I'm saying?
immediately after that, though. They go from winning to
Mhm.
5th, like that.
Because we had the discussion back a while back, and we talked about how the old school top five used to be, and literally the only one left is literally BD and SEV. Really, if you're talking about top three, BD is the only one who's never left.
Yeah.
Everybody else is left because Cadets used to be a steady top three. Cavaliers was the steady top three. Now look where everybody's at. BD is like the gold standard of DCI. They're the only ones holding on with almost, I don't want to say with ease, but they make it look like it's with ease.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you come out
But-
the womb, you're in BDQ. I
Promise
mean,
you, they got a group
Been in
all the
umbilical
letters of
cords.
the alphabet.
marching 8 to 5 as a fetus.
I need somebody to sponsor BDC to get them to come out the indie. Crowd will love it.
Somebody said BDC is clean. Like somebody said BDC BDB is about as clean as the open. I said, you know what? I'm not even shocked.
I mean, they
But said you got 5 now.
yeah, we all got 5. I don't think we need to go to 12.
We need another 2 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, these top 5s is all right. So because
I think we all agree that cadets are just out probably.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the same top 6, just in different orders.
I would bet top 8. I think we all have Cavies, cadets, and probably Blue Knights as well in the next.
you want to finish the top 8?
I
Just say without explaining.
So I had SCV 5, Cadet 6, Cavi 7, Blue Knights 8.
Yeah.
And that could, the whole top 8 could just be a big cluster
Like for real.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I definitely think that 6 through 8 tier is all Blue Knights, cadets.
Going to be Cavies for you. So who's your 6?
I'm about to say,
SCV.
Zach, you have 2 left. You have
Okay,
7
so let
and
me
8.
go top down. BD, Blue Coats. Then my 3rd place and 4th place are Cavies and
Cavies.
Crown. And 5th will be Boston. 6th,
Or SEV.
yeah, Boston and SCV 5, 6. Then my 7 and 8 would be Cadets, Blue Knights.
So that leaves you, William.
I got BD. What I got? BD, Crown, Coats, SEV, Boston, Cavaliers. What is that? 1, 2, 3,
That's 6.
That should be 6.
7, 8 Cavies. You ain't making that easy.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing.
They're not making that easy.
And I bet some of it is we're going with heart
Oh,
overhead too.
I'm
I want to put BK in the top 6 so bad.
Yeah,
I
like a
do.
mug right
I
now.
just really do, but I can't do it. And it was a struggle to put STV out of the top 3.
yeah.
But
I think it might be
I mean, if I'm
I think it might be cadets, then blue knights. And here's what.
I mean, you got to think about all the groups we haven't said yet. Where are they going?
Yep, we had
Where are you going to put
Exactly.
them?
we had we said Blue Stars.
Cause I'm about to say, because the one that be tricking folks is Blue Stars and in Spirit.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
3 years ago, Mandarins weren't in the conversation. And now you got to think, okay, where are we going to put them?
Random question. If competition continues to be this steep, do you think they ever expand finals to 15? WGI have done it.
I see. I was literally about to say WGI just did. So I think at some point, DCI's got to figure something out. But if they do, I don't know if they can because of time frame. I think WGI is easier because shows are shorter, and gaps and transitions.
Yeah, and you have less people.
Shorter, less people to deal with.
Yeah, they put 15 out there. They're not fitting on there for retreat.
No,
You're gonna
they're
have. If you're 15th place, you get to stand in the tunnel to hear your name called.
No, they'll have to start putting them in the stands, and I don't think DCI is going to do that.
Yeah. And I'm not saying they should, but like I said, we just sat here and we could think of now legitimately 15 or 16 cores that are finals caliber.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about in Kentucky, they just expanded to 6 finalists for their classes. And in some of those classes, there was a definite drop off from 4 to 5.
Yeah.
So you got to think, and also like for me, that kind of if you expand to 15, it takes away some of that competitive. It's like, oh well, we're in 13th, we're going to make finals. Whereas if you're in 13th right now, you're going to be pushing to see if you can knock somebody out of that 12th spot. I mean,
but here's the thing though, if they could make it work time wise, that's more money.
Yeah.
So that's are you will, and I hate to say dilute the product, but are you willing to dilute the product for a little bit more money? Because I know how I am. There's at least 1 or 2 quarters that make finals that I don't want to watch. And that'll be my bathroom / concession stand. So with 15 groups, I mean at WGI, I'm the same way. There are 15 groups to make finals. I might watch a couple of those bottom half. But
yeah,
I'm gonna make sure I got everything I need to watch the top half.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a day that's already long.
Yeah.
Because even if you add that many, does that mean is there a judge change more often now, or what's going on?
Yeah,
it's
a lot of stuff to
see
think about. I'm sure the discussion has been had, but I think ultimately to keep the prestige of what it is to be a DCI world class finalist,
Yeah.
You need to get in that. You need to get in that.
And then also, like,
Yeah,
when you're groups like Mandarins or the Academy and you finally bust in there for the first time or get back into finals for the first time in a while, that's a big deal. Like, I think about that year. I mean, the year the Academy made it, that show was the perfect storm for them. And I just remember when they were done, they just all stood on the field and just absorbed it. We did it, They knew they weren't going to be top 8, but they were there.
But that's a huge feat that people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand how hard it is just to get into finals. Who cares if you're last? Yeah, okay, you're last, but you're in finals. And groups don't really get how hard that is. And me and Cedric talk about this too. It's the same thing with Vigilantes and indoor. The Vigilantes had an incredible open season and was unanimously the winner for open class and got world the next year. and never made finals for like the next 3, 4 some years.
Yeah.
They just made finals in world class. So it's like you get that promotion, but then you just don't quite get there. And then you finally make it. I think they were like, I don't even remember what, third, fourth from the bottom. That's major. That's major. So yeah, a lot of these groups gonna have to watch themselves because they gonna slip up. Next thing you know, Colts gonna be up in there.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
These last couple years, they've been coming. They've been coming up.
I want to see Colts.
I like that coach show from last year.
Yeah, I want to see them. I know a few folks on that staff, and I'm like, let's go and get this together.
Apparently, and I'm see, we can keep talking forever and ever.
I'm telling you,
That troopers, people are troopers.
people want troopers in so bad it's unreal. It's unreal. I don't think a lot of people know, but people really want troopers in finals
Again,
consistently.
when they broke finals, and I think that was the Infinity Corps year. We were there when they held that corps for 30 years. Still might be playing it somewhere, but yeah, that was the. I mean, like you said, that those groups that have been fighting to make finals and then finally get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Troopers that year, Phantom, not Phantom. Who was it?
Mandarins. Well, they've stayed. You know, Academy.
They got there.
Academy got in there and then fell right back out. But Mandarins have found a way to stay. And it's not like when they got it, the year they made finals the first time, they didn't get last. They were what, 10th? I mean, they were like, we're going to be there and we're going to be there. We're not just going to slide in.
And that's Crossman's fault.
Mm-hmm.
All those bottom tiers and even them are just like the top 5. They blink too much.
You're gonna be
you start losing your spot.
Mm-hmm.
You start letting these groups come in that are starting to shine. They starting to talk, make some noise.
Well, gentlemen, I think we've had some good discussion tonight. So, this podcast is probably not going to be on a regular schedule during the DCI season. We're probably going to try to get things done after major shows. So Tuesday night's the theater show. That's when almost everybody had been out. A few cores will still be going on. So we plan on doing a reaction to the theater show. So that may be done Tuesday night. It may be done Wednesday. Don't know, but there'll be another podcast this week. And we're looking at some other things. We may go live. We may watch some of these slow marching shows live and live stream them. Kind of have a watch party, either on Twitch or on YouTube. And then, like I said, these podcasts will be happening throughout the year. So just keep a lookout for us. If you got some suggestions, put them in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Do all of that good stuff.
Tell your friends.
You may try to tell your friends. Yeah, tell your friends. We may try to have some special guests on every now and then. Well, knows everybody in Drum Corps, so you might be able to get some sneak peeks with some people that are on tour. Maybe we'll be able to bring them in, have some conversations with those folks. But we're Drum Corps fans. We want to make this. This is fun for us. I mean, we could just do this.
We do.
Yeah, and we do. Now we just got a camera on us, so now you can see and hear the foolishness that we entail, and it's only going to get more when we have Chris with us as well. So, you fellas, any parting words?
Is this where we come up with a slogan to end every show with?
I don't know. They can leave those in the comments too, man. If you got a slogan or something we should say or do or whatever to end this thing. No.
I'm just kidding.
Come on, somebody.
I'm just kidding.
And Dut out.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Dut and out.
So it is. So it has been said. So it is.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
All right. So until next time, I'm Cedric. That's Will. That's Zach. And Dut
This is on the
out.
back hash.